Commissioner Kristen Deaton.
Good evening.
Zone 4 Commissioner Howard Briley will not be in the meeting tonight. He is out of town. Assistant City Manager, City Manager Joyce Shanahan, sorry about that. Assistant City Manager Sean Finley. And welcome back to our City Attorney Randy Hayes. And to my far left and my far right, we have Police Chief Jesse Godfrey, Fire Chief Howard Bailey, and I am Mayor Jason Leslie. At this time, I'd like to call up Deacon Bill Ferrarin of the St. Brendan Catholic Church to give the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
O God, we thank you for the gift of this day and for the opportunity to gather in service to our community. We are grateful for the beauty of Ormond Beach, its people, its natural surroundings, and the spirit of cooperation that makes this city strong. Bless our commissioners, city staff, and all who've gathered here tonight. Grant them wisdom in their deliberations, clarity in their decisions, and a deep sense of fairness and compassion for all who call this community home. May every discussion be guided by respect, every choice by integrity, and every outcome by the desire to promote the common good. We also ask your blessing on those who protect and serve our city, our police officers, firefighters, first responders, and public workers, that they may be safe in their duties and steadfast in their care for others. May all that is done here tonight bring honor to you and benefit to the people of Ormond Beach. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May all be seated. And thank you for coming out, Deacon. We really appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on to the presentations and proclamations section of the agenda. Today we have the recognition of our Home for the Holidays Parade winners and 3 proclamations. I'd like to invite Mr. Brian Daly to come up to the front to present the awards.
Thank you, Mayor Leslie. I am lucky enough to be here to present the awards for the 34th Annual Home for the Holidays Parade, A Country Christmas. And we'd like to thank our sponsors first. First of all, Daytona Beverage and the Bowler family and Deputy Mayor Toland for getting us the Clydesdales this year. That was awesome. Crunch Construction, the Money Pages, Daytona Beverage, Gary Yeomans Ford, who provided our cars this year, Abaco Windows, Security First Insurance, Ormond Main Street, Hometown News, SR Perrott, and Volusia Memorial Dignity. So now I'm going to announce the winners for this year's parade. If you're here, just stand. Once we're done with everything, including a proclamation, we'll go into the atrium for pictures and presentations of the checks. So we'll start with our Walker Division. In 3rd place this year was Encore Baton. Don't know if there's anyone here from there. Second place, previous winner overall, was the Seabreeze Marching 100 feet with Ormond Middle, Hinson Middle, and Our Lady of Lourdes Middle Schools. And first place, the perennial winner, was Tomoka Elementary School. And they're here. In our vehicles, this one had to be switched around a little bit because we had so many floats that deserved awards, so 1 or 2 of them wound up in this division. In 3rd place, last year they were a float winner, was the Iron Horse Saloon. In the back. And I know these people are here in mass. For 2nd place, the Volusia V-Dubs. And in first place, Cunningham Oil, always a winner. Our floats, and these give the judges the hardest time every year. Third place is Salty Church. Second place is Adams Cameron Realtors. We're here. So the challenge of the redubs. And first place, this was a great one, Ormond Beach Elementary School. And there they are. Before I do our best of show, I almost forgot to thank our committee. Volunteers that work with the city all year long and volunteer their time the night of the parade. Brian Nave, Chris Massabo, Gina Nave and Rebecca Nave, our judges. Dane Riddell, Daryl Grabowski, Becky Parker from Main Street, my favorite, Siobhan Daly, Paul Mena, and our city advisors, Robert Carolyn, Stephen Sibley, and Sonia Johnson. And a special thanks to the fire department and the hardest working people the night of the parade, the police department. And when I say that, I truly mean it. You have to walk the parade and see what these poor ladies and gentlemen go through. But they have a smile on their face and they're nice to everyone. So this year, our best of show, we had a lady that was with us for 23 years. She started off as a sponsor with Seniors Today 25 years ago. She and her husband Merle. And then Dillis became a judge for 23 years. Unfortunately, we lost her this past year, a great lady. With us tonight, we have her son, Andrew. I'd like him to come up and present this award, the Dillis Harris Best of Show Award. It's the first time for that for us. And this is her son, Andrew. Everybody give a big hand for Andrew. And this year's winner for the Best of Show, these guys kill it every year. They take care of our Santa Claus float for us, which takes a big strain off the committee and the city. And these guys just best themselves each year. I can't wait to see what they do next year. Abaco Windows, you want to come on up? You can stay there, Andrew. Just hand them their plaque. Come on, Cooper, you're not that old. Abaco Windows, this is their third year straight winning one of the big awards. And if you've seen their floats, you know why.
Do we need to stand?
Thank you, guys. And now we'd like to have Becky Parker from Main Street come up.
It is, right?
Yep, you guys are done work. And after the proclamation, we're all going to go out, the winners, out into the atrium, and we'll finish this up out there. Becky's going to present the Reich Hundermark Award for the best business entry in the parade. And here you are, Becky. It's all yours.
Okay, this was named for a longtime board member of ours who is really passionate about the downtown, and I think that this is the very best thing that happened in Ormond Beach, and we really should thank you, Brian, for all that you do, and and also Public Works, who did a whole lot. Their entire team did a really wonderful job, which I think we may have missed earlier. But this event, I should also say one more thing. I have a lot of people that come to me from all over that end up at the parade for the first time as a family or an individual that just moved to the area, and they often remark that that was the moment they knew that they had moved to the right place and felt a part of the community. I've had many people mention that, and I just think it's the best in the world, personally. So all right, I think Daytona Beverages is here.
Cup winner this year.
This is for you. Girls, you're gonna get it. Congratulations. You want me to? Okay. Okay.
It's pretty heavy.
I didn't do anything. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing
Thank you, Brian. Oh, there you are. Daytona Beverage, we have a proclamation to present to you as well. We appreciate everything you do for the city, and we heard that you guys were really instrumental in helping the Clydesdale, so thank you very much. Do you have anything you want to say before I present the proclamation? No? Okay. All right. If that thing's heavy, you can put it on the table here if you like. Okay. Well, I have something a little lighter for you if you want to hold it for me. Yeah, come this way. Sorry. This one here is a little lighter. Whereas Daytona Beverages has earned a long-standing reputation as a valued contributor to the Volusia County business and economic community. And whereas Daytona Beverages, under the leadership of President and owner Chris Bauer and owner Kevin Bauer, has established a strong reputation for excellence, partnership, and community engagement. And whereas in 2025, Daytona Beverages received the Distinguished Award in honor of a visit from the world-renowned Budweiser Clydesdales as recognition of their long-standing partnership within the beverage distribution industry. And whereas, in a generous act of community spirit, Daytona Beverages shared this with the residents of Ormond Beach by arranging for the Clydesdales to participate in the city's annual holiday parade. The presence of the Clydesdales brought extraordinary excitement, joy, and pride, creating a memorable experience for thousands of residents and visitors, elevating one of Ormond Beach's most cherished holiday traditions. And whereas Daytona Beverages' exquisite parade entry was awarded the Ormond Beach Main Street's Reich Hundermark President's Cup for the generosity and civic pride. Now, therefore, I, Jason Leslie, Mayor of the City of Ormond Beach, do hereby proclaim January 20th, 2026 as a day to celebrate Daytona Beverages.
Thank you.
Don't forget this. Oh, yeah, right there. Oh, they might need a picture out there. All right. Okay, I was gonna say they might need it for a picture. I thought they had to be out there. How about another round of applause for Daytona Beverages for doing what they do? Next up, I'd like to invite the Ormond Beach Police Department victim advocate Courtney Frayne up to receive the proclamation. How are you? Good to see you. Nice to see you too. Do you have anything you'd like to say before I read the proclamation? Okay. I'll just wait the door to close there for a second. Okay, whereas human trafficking involves the exploitation of individuals for labor, services, and other abuses carried out through force, fraud, or coercion, and remains one of the most pervasive and devastating violations of human rights in the world. And whereas human trafficking is considered one of the fastest growing illegal industries globally, generating an estimated $150 billion annually in illicit profits, and millions of people worldwide continue to be subjected to forced labor and exploitation. And whereas traffickers prey on vulnerable individuals by promising safety, opportunity, or connection only to impose exploitation, violence, and control. Victims are forced into labor or subjected to severe exploitation in industries including agriculture, factories, private homes, and other settings, making human trafficking a modern form of one of the oldest and most barbaric abuses. Whereas the U.S. Department of the Interior highlights the heightened vulnerability of persons with disabilities who may face increased risk of trafficking due to dependency on caregivers, communication barriers, social isolation, or lack of awareness of their rights. And whereas Ormond Beach is proud to participate in the 100% Club initiative led by the Florida Alliance to End Human Trafficking, which provides the knowledge and tools needed to identify and report suspicious activity. Now, therefore, I, Jason Leslie, Mayor of the City of Ormond Beach, do hereby proclaim January as Human Trafficking Awareness Month. All right, thank you. Next up, I'd like to invite the Ormond Beach Police Chief Jesse Godfrey to receive the proclamation. And I see some other officers in the back. Why don't you guys come up too? Yes, I know, right? Can we do a little better than that for our police department? Come on. All right, that's a lot better. Oh, you know what? Chief, I'm going to have you hold the proclamation. Thank you very much. Okay, we got everybody here? All right, good-looking group here. Whereas National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day was established in 2015 by Concerns of Police Survivors, COPS, to recognize the unwavering commitment, sacrifice, and service of law enforcement officers across the United States. And whereas COPS provides vital support to the families, friends, and colleagues of officers who made the ultimate sacrifice in a line of duty, while also uplifting and honoring countless officers who demonstrate integrity and compassion each day. And whereas the men and women who serve in law enforcement are not only public servants, but also our neighbors, friends, and family who willingly place themselves in harm's way to safeguard others. Their duties are both demanding and essential, requiring them to make difficult decisions, uphold the rule of law, and protect the safety and well-being of the communities they serve, often without the recognition their service deserves. And whereas the City of Ormond Beach recognizes the strength and safety of our community depends on the dedication of these officers whose courage, resilience, and commitment to justice embody the highest ideals of public service. And whereas National Law Enforcement Day provides an opportunity for residents, businesses, and community organizations to come together in gratitude to acknowledge the sacrifices made by law enforcement personnel and to express our collective appreciation for their steadfast service. Now, therefore, I, Jason Leslie, Mayor of the City of Ormond Beach, do hereby proclaim January 9th, 2026 as National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Yes, so let's see who's here today and say hello and just say your name and anything else you have in your mind.
Officer Kennedy with the Ormond Beach Police Department, and just happy to be here.
Great.
I'm Officer McCoy.
Nice.
Officer Corner. Captain Chris Roos.
Captain Roos, we love Captain Roos.
John Borster.
Officer Seamus.
Corporal Taylor.
And, of course, we have Chief Jesse Godfrey here. All right, well, how about a round of applause for these guys again? We're going to do a quick picture. All right, thank you, everyone. Before we move on, just how about one more round of applause to everybody to receive the awards and proclamations tonight. Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from those of you who have signed a card to speak about any item which is not on the printed agenda for this meeting or any items on the consent agenda. Each person will be given a total of 3 minutes. As a reminder, please be sure to state your name and address and speak clearly into the microphone. And the first one I'm going to call up is going to be Claire Atwell. Claire?
Good evening. My name is Claire Atwell. My address is 49 Ormond Green Boulevard in Ormond Beach. And my problem, basically, I'd like to have get further resolved for it, is the risk management department. They're just apparently very short on people or something because they never get back to me. And my problem's been ongoing now for 32 months. And I get no response, as I said, and I need help of getting my case resolved from my injury that happened in May 18th of 2023. That's my statement, basically. I'd like to have just, if somebody can help me get this resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Bruce Baker.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Baker. I have a site at the Encore RV Resort at 1701 North US Highway 1. On the weekend of the 16th, 17th, 18th, there was an event next door at the Harley-Davidson complex known as Eastbound Get Down Car, Bike, and Truck Show, presented by Down for Sound. It's held about this time of year every year. At this event, they have a competition known as Audio Sound Off, better known on the circuit as Bass Race, Bass War, or Bass Boxing. It's a competition where individuals spend thousands of dollars building extreme stereo systems to see who can get the highest reading on a decibel meter. These readings can reach anywhere from 150 to 180 decibels. Jet engines at takeoff run 120 to 140 decibels. Volusia County has a noise ordinance of 60 decibels. Even though this event goes on every year, it's been getting louder and louder. Even though in the past years it's been irritating, but it's been tolerable. This year it was not tolerable whatsoever. Starting at 9 a.m. on Saturday the 17th, we started hearing the agonizing bass thump, thump, thump that was so loud it was rattling windows in the people's campers. Many people had to leave until it was over because they couldn't take it. It had people, there were people with babies having to leave because their child was crying and wouldn't stop. Some people with pets were also forced to leave because their dogs were going crazy, barking, howling, and pacing up and down the halls. This went on until after 4 in the afternoon. This was constant, no let up. A lot of the people enjoy the car show, including myself, and we don't want that to end. All we're asking is that the audio competition not be allowed at any future function at this site, and I have signatures from 95 people wanting it ended. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bruce. And I'm going to do a follow-up email with you on that, so just look for your email, okay?
Pardon?
I'm going to do a follow-up email on that, so either myself or someone else is going to email you with a follow-up, okay?
Thank you.
Next up, David Jewell.
I'm David Jewell, 2040 Toning Street, Ormond Beach. I'd like to clarify a Facebook page put out by the city of Ormond Beach. They made comments on there that certain citizens were starting rumors about pollution at the airport. I'd like to contradict that statement. Anything could be further from the truth. We said that there was possibilities of pollution at our airport from a 1943 to 59 naval base out there. That statement about pollution came from an EPA grant application filed by the city of Ormond Beach with the EPA in Atlanta, Georgia. I spoke to people in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm currently in contact with Jason French from the FDEP in Tallahassee. We're not saying that there's pollution there. It concerns the ball field, the digging they're doing out there, over 100,000 cubic yards of material being removed from a new retention pond, being hauled off-site. I've asked Sean Finley for documents showing that that's been tested. In their own reports to the EPA, they stated that there was petroleum, solvents, toxic materials. They said that they knew toxic materials had been used at the airport. It had never been cleaned up to the best of their knowledge. I want documentation testing before we move pollution all over our county. We got kids playing out on those ball fields, playing there, where there's possible contamination. I'm not saying there's contamination. City of Ormond Beach said the possibility exists. The project manager of this whole EPA thing with a statement and the grant application is with us tonight. Joyce Shanahan. She was in charge of it, project manager. She should know all the answers. I haven't been given anything by Mr. Finley, and it's been over 30 days, and he assured me that there had been testing done. I was going to get documents. He was going to show that it was clean as a whistle. Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Just real quick, Sean, I remember that email going out. Was there a follow-up on that at all?
Yes, when Mr. Jewell came to the office, I shared with him that the application for that brownfield excluded the area of the sports complex. The sports complex area was not included in that brownfield application. We've done numerous projects at the sports complex, permitted through the permitting agencies, including St. Johns River Water Management District. We've done everything that has been asked of us in those permits.
Thank you, Sean. Next up is Anthony Conforti. Come on up, Anthony.
So much. Everyone, Happy New Year. Thank you for hearing me again. I just got to read from my phone here quickly. I don't want to get any of this stuff mixed up. So, thank you. All right. Is it fair to say decisions in this room or atmosphere are called quasi-traditional? Does that make sense to anyone? I just learned that term yesterday myself. It's just with any personal opinion or political influence. Does that make any sense? All right, spectacular. I was like, I guess it appears we can all agree that my application 2025-26 that submitted should be reopened due to its diluted outside influence of personal opinions that were voiced outside of this room, regardless of their credentials, as none of them have an official position on this commission. The operation credentials set forth by myself and the superb guidance of Mr. Spraker in that application not only justify but also retain the utmost respect for the citizens and the panel itself that would allow it. And I'm kindly asking to rehear that before I try to exercise any kind of legal action, whether it's 70.51 or the petition for common law certiorari or anything that would help us set a point like a magistrate. And essentially that will complementary amend this code to refine it for the best interest of anybody that would come along after me, so you don't have to do this all over again, because I feel like it's been about a year or so since we've been doing all this. Now, I know that motion has to be opened by someone that was against it. I know one of those constituents aren't here today. There is only one left in the room. So I'm just kindly trying to look past any of the records because I'm aware that you guys can position zones where you'd like. However, some of those zones are really not grounded by state law, nor are they based in a health or safety risk, and they're not supported by any other governments like the Department of Health or anything that would restrict that. So I'm kindly asking you guys to reopen that application. Please second that motion, Ms. Tollin, before I have to move forward with anything else that would really just force a special magistrate and have this reviewed by a higher government. It's not because I think so. It's just because state statute 381-00.75 puts that in there.
Can we get the city attorney's opinion? Because I believe that in order for it to be reopened, it has to be the meeting immediately following when it was done. Am I correct in that? Or can it be reopened at any time? Is there a time frame, Mr. Hayes?
Well, there are multiple issues and layers to the issues that have been raised. Quasi-judicial matters are not typically ones that can be revisited because of the public notification and the notice requirements and some of the other legal requirements. And I don't remember when this gentleman's application was heard before the commission, but it's been many months, as I recall. So well past the marker for that, if you will. The remedy at the time would have been for the applicant to file an appeal in circuit court by way of petition for writ of certiorari. There's typically a 30-day timeline on that. That did not occur. So the appeal time has expired for the review of the final action by this commission. Quasi-judicial matters, and I seem to remember that this may have involved a two-step process, a rezoning, I think, Scott, for PRD, was it? No? It was a land development code amendment. So that was a legislative, okay, that's right. So it was a amendment to the land development code, which is a legislative action by the commission. And you have a lot of discretion in terms of how you treat that. And this commission chose not to amend the code, which would have laid the foundation for a subsequent application, if you will. And I think did I correctly state that? Okay. In any event, it's very difficult to appeal a final legislative action by the commission. And if it could have been done, the time has long expired. There's not a Bert Harris claim here. There's not a takings claim here. You're free to go consult with your own attorney if you haven't already done so, and I'm confident that that attorney will properly advise you. And if not, then they can contact me, and I'll be happy to talk to them. So.
Spectacular. I appreciate all that advice. I really do. I don't know where that leaves us as like the state. I believe it's 3. Let me see what the policy number is there. Just one moment. I do know that at the end of the day, whatever the definition of tattooing is, can be massaged, it can be placed in certain places. However, it's just not grounded by state law. It's not a safety and health risk, and it's not supported by the Department of Health. So it seems more or less like a personal decision of where it is or isn't allowed now.
Well, Anthony, we appreciate all that and you being here and all that stuff, but we just don't have the time to sit here and deliberate that right now. I mean, you got some good advice here from the city attorney, and I think that would be, probably a direction you should check out and seek legal counsel on this and get, some advice from them. But, the city attorney has spoken. Hopefully that helps Commissioner Sargent here with his question. Do you have any more questions for Anthony? No? We appreciate you coming out. I got to call the next speaker, though. Thank you. Next up is Jennifer Bright.
Good evening. I would like to ask the Commission to vote no on the resolution to support the Florida League of Cities 2026 legislative platform. The League does not provide a united voice for the residents or have their best interest at heart. The League of Cities is an organization that has its own agenda. It supports legislation that enables municipal annexation of unincorporated land. It opposes any kind of restrictions on the government's taking of private land, in other words, eminent domain. It supports the collection of property taxes. It opposes legislation weakening or eliminating community redevelopment agencies, CRAs, like the one that set up Ormond Crossings. Since 2017, this CRA alone has budgeted revenue for over $2 million, of which $1 million came out of our general fund. It supports preserving municipal authority over collecting utility revenues. Ormond Beach has budgeted over $11.2 million in utility taxes and franchise fees since 2017. It supported legislation that allows for subsidized and workforce housing, one of the key components of the Live Local Act. supported protecting municipal authorities to set impact fees, just under $3 million budgeted in the last 9 years. Supports preserving and maintaining caps on financial damages recoverable in negligent claims against government entities. So if you get hurt or your property's damaged, too bad, too sad. And of course, the League supports gun control and more. At the December 2nd council meeting, the council approved a request for an undetermined and or unlimited amount of money for the 2026 travel budget, which was listed in the agenda packet. 50% of these were for the League. Why would any elected official approve undisclosed amount of money that was supposedly budgeted for any event with any organization that has its own agenda, an agenda that does not benefit the majority of our residents in our city? Once again, I urge you to vote no on the resolution to support the Florida League of Cities. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Next, we have Amber Bobak. And on deck, Susan Schreiber.
Good evening, everyone. Amber Bobak, 397 Collins Street. Last week, we had another opportunity to discuss the inconvenience of the proposed Circle K that brings to our homes in this location. I know a discussion is not on tonight's agenda, but will be coming to you soon. I'd like to just give a brief list of the design special exceptions I have asked of Circle K that would better protect our community. Could you reduce the number of pumps? Could you position the pumps along Nova instead of hand? Could you add a carbon filter for the overflow that may enter our public recreational retention ponds to reduce the possibility of risk? Fulfilling any of these requests would make them more neighborly, I believe is what the applicant's representative was quoted saying in the Observer. To date, none of these have been accommodated. However, I did throw one more request at the applicant last week because, as you know by now, I don't give up. The request to the applicant was to consider donating the undeveloped parcel of land remaining between the residential homes and commercial properties to the city at no cost. To ensure permanent preservation of what little green space buffer remains, the applicant's representative replied that he would take the request back. This has been an exhausting year for me learning and navigating the system. While I haven't been able to accomplish protecting my neighborhood in the way I had hoped, I have learned a lot and will continue to show up and ask those who build to provide better protections for our community, because I truly believe our voices matter and have great impact when we are courteous and show respect for one another. However, I am not naive enough to think that just because we ask, we will get it. Some developers will be willing to discuss and go additional miles for our community, and then there will be the ones that are listening but only respond when legally obligated. Even though thus far Circle K has not accepted any of the requests for design modifications, I am still forever hopeful they will come back and present a truly neighborly response before the commission when the time comes.
Thank you, Amber. Suzanne Schreiber, and on deck we have Marcia Blue.
Good evening, Suzanne Schreiber, representing Drink Green Volusia, 548 Sandy Oaks Boulevard. Last summer, Randy Hayes spoke about SB 180, saying it was one of the worst bills he had ever seen preempting our charter. Now, Senate Bill 718 is under review by committees in Tallahassee and is a legislative measure focused on water management in the state of Florida. The current version of the bill states water management prohibiting counties and municipalities from adopting laws, regulations, rules, or policies relating to water quality or quantity, pollution control, pollutant discharge prevention or removal, or wetlands, preempting such regulation to the state, repealing a provision relating to land management review teams. In December, the Commission stated support for empowering the public to vote on treating wastewater to potable water. I'm exercising my right to vote tonight, right now. Because if SB 180 passes, it takes effect on July 1st of 2026. It currently preempts policy and funding. The City of Ormond Beach has reverse osmosis water treatment for a portion of the water. To my knowledge, we are the only city in Volusia County with reverse osmosis, which is the major step which is a major step in treating sewage for potable water. Also in December, the vote took place on the lawsuit with Daytona Beach pertaining to who sells the water for Avalon. To Commissioner Sargent's point of not wanting the consumptive use permit raised, St. John's Water Management issues the permits. The question is, where does the water come from if the consumptive use permit is increased? I urge the attorney to provide input on Senate Bill 718 tonight, and I call on the Commission to take action against preemption this evening. The Commission's responsibilities are at risk, like SB 180, but in a different manner. Please schedule the workshop immediately and discuss water holistically, clarifying Ormond Beach. I respectfully request that the Ormond Beach Observer consider publishing an article or series addressing important water-related issues in our community. Please include the consumptive use permit limits, where any increase in capacity will come from, current potable water treatment methods, pollution challenges, and insights from Mr. Finley regarding any potential water shortages. Additionally, it is essential to cover the implications of SB 180 related to preemption, along with water management and pollution, which have impacted residents in flood-affected areas. This article or series would educate the public on water should the Observer choose to do this. So I appreciate your cooperation, and I see Mr. Briley is out tonight. If you could let him know what I spoke on to staff. Thank you. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you for coming out. Any comments? No? Okay. All right, the last speaker, okay. Last speaker for the public comment is Marcia Blue.
Marcia Blue, 12 Honey Bear Path. Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor. All items I'm going to read have to do with the Ormond Beach Municipal Airport and asking for a NEPA study. I spoke about the topic before, using actual dollar amounts that would save a lot of money on the local share, but it never made it to the minutes, so I will present the matter differently. My understanding from the original obstacle action plan was that the airport intended to request both FAA and FDOT funding for the environmental assessment, the design and bidding, and the on-airport tree removal. Currently, the airport is routing the obstacle work through FDOT and local share instead. This seems to be a switching of fund sources. Is this to avoid triggering a FAA NEPA study or evaluation? The NEPA study provides the opportunity for public to share their concerns of 3,700 trees being removed. NEPA does a complete evaluation of many items that I spoke about previously. Without a NEPA, it's a closed door to the community and adjoining properties. Following our blurbs from 2 emails pertaining to NEPA. November 12th, Airport Manager to FDOT. Below is a copy of the email from FAA that we talked about during our Teams meeting this afternoon, wherein the FAA stated that NEPA would not be required for our proposed obstruction mitigation project if FAA funding was not involved. October 8th, FAA to Airport Manager. If you use other sources of funding, local and state, for the project to remove obstructions, NEPA would not be required. In the event you pursue federal funding, NEPA would be required. November 13th, Airport Manager to FDOT. Project name, description, design and bidding services for obstruction mitigation. Design and bidding services will be conducted, including coordination with the St. Johns River District, to avoid environmental permitting for the airport to perform an obstruction mitigation project. Not really sure why the airport wouldn't want to save substantial money by using the FAA grant money that was already available for their use for the obstruction mitigation. If any of you have the answers why we would want to use local shares over the FAA grant money, I'd be happy to find that out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the approval of minutes. The minutes for the December 16th, 2025 City Commission meeting and December 23rd, 2025 special City Commission meeting have been sent to the Commission for review and posted to the city's website. Does anyone have any corrections or changes to the December 16th, 2025 minutes at this time?
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
The ayes have it, motion approved. Does anyone have any corrections or changes to the December 23rd, 2025 minutes? Okay,
Move approval.
Second.
all right, all those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it, motion approved. We move on to consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are deemed routine and non-controversial. The action proposed is stated for each item. Unless the city commissioner removes an item from the consent agenda, no discussion on individual items will occur, and a single motion will approve all items. Does any member of the commission wish to pull any items from the consent agenda?
Move approval.
Second.
I actually like to pull 7B. So, B. So can I get a motion again, minus B?
I'll retract my motion. We need to take it back, right?
Okay, is there a second? Who's the
Second.
Okay.
She needs to take her motion back before we start.
Oh, you didn't take your motion back? Okay. You want to retract your motion?
Sure, retract my motion.
Okay.
Move approval absent 7B.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, City Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Tolland,
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent,
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Briley is absent, and Mayor Leslie.
Yes. City Clerk, can you please read consent item number 7B?
Resolution number 2026-02, a resolution approving termination of a contract with East Coast Marine Construction and Design, Inc. regarding construction of the seawall and ADA ramp reconstruction at the Andy Romano Beachfront Park, authorizing the execution of a settlement and release of claims and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2026-02, read by title only.
Is there a motion for approval for discussion?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Sean, are you the one to talk about on this item? Just have some questions about it?
I can talk, yes, sir.
Okay. So I understand that this was, the contractor that won the bid, the RFP. They realized that once they were getting involved with the scope of work, that there was things that they didn't understand in the RFP.
Yes, sir.
And then so the cost was a lot higher than what they thought the scope of work was going to be. So that's how we got in this position, right, where they are now just withdrawing themselves.
That is correct.
Okay. And then we made some kind of settlement agreement on I guess the release of claim. And what was that amount again?
I believe it was $30,000 thereabouts.
Okay. So what did they exactly do for $30,000?
I apologize. There was some mobilization. Alex, do you know, can you help me out with this one?
Alex, come on up. Alex, if you can, just give your name and title for the record.
Sure. Alex Schuman, Utilities Manager. So the contractor mobilized to the site. They pulled bonds and insurance. They poured several panels. So they mobilized to the site, and this was the dollar amount that covers the bonds and insurance and the legwork that they did up to this point.
Okay. So is there anything that was left behind that is salvageable that the next contractor can use or anything like that, or no?
It doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
They did leave some materials behind. We've been in contact with that. The firm from 7C, they've indicated they can't use any of the material.
Okay. And then could you just clarify again about what exactly happened, how we got to this point?
So again, the contractor had a misunderstanding with the plans on the scope of the work, and submitted a very large change order to correct that error that was, in our view, not in the best interest of the city.
And so is this something you see happen often?
No,
No?
it's very rare.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Alex? Okay. Commissioner Sargent?
Is there any way this bid could have been written clearer than what it was so this
Good question.
did not happen? And the reason why I ask this is I go back to things I've been trying to do for a year and a half, 2 years now of redoing our bidding process because sometimes things aren't written clear, and here's a perfect example of a waste of money.
Parts of the bid could have been clearer, and we've talked with our consultants about how to rectify that, and all of our project managers about lessons learned and how to improve this going forward.
I think this is a perfect opportunity that we should, as a commission, look at our bidding process and the bidding software we use and maybe put that out for bid and see what else we can, what other options are available.
No, well, if I can clarify, I don't believe there's a problem with the bidding process. I think that there was a misunderstanding by the lowest responsive bidder that they did not fully understand the plans that were presented when they came to do the engineered plans. When they went to do the construction, they brought their misunderstanding to the table and asked for additional funds. We typically have a policy that we will not entertain change orders. And in this instance, we did not. We were not going to. We were not going to allow the contractor to come to us with something that we felt, and we brought an independent structural engineer in to do a further review of it. They felt that that the plans were straightforward. I don't believe it was a problem with the bidding process as much as we had as a little bit of a victim of having to pick the lowest responsive bidder. And in this instance, they did not understand the plans as they were presented for bidding.
So when you looked at the RFP, or whoever looked at the RFP from staff, I don't know, was that you, Alex, or was it Sean? When the RFPs came in, the bids? Mm-hmm. Was there any concern at all at some point when you saw there was a big fluctuation between one number versus the other?
I don't believe that there was a big fluctuation. I think I think that it was a competitive bidding here, and that's why when we had the option and the change order request came in, the request by the lowest original bidder was higher than what the second lowest responsive bidder was. It was within 10%, I believe, or thereabouts. It was between the lowest bidder and then the second responsive bidder. So there wasn't a big fluctuation between bidders.
Okay. Was there any kind of work that was done on the property?
There was work that was, again, and this is kind of led to our frustration with the contractor, that was not done under authorization as we would have required them to do. Specifically, we require them to provide shop drawings for what they're going to fabricate. They mobilized. They poured the walls without having approval of those shop drawings. The shop drawing review process would have saved the contractor some efforts by, at that point, bringing the point to the contractor that what they were going to construct was not in accordance with the plans. They poured a number of panels. At that time, once those were poured, that's when our engineer, who was doing construction administration services, found that, brought it number one to our attention that we were going to get a product that did not meet the specifications of the plans, and brought to the attention of the contractor. So that's a little bit of the process here. So
when I hear the word pouring now, is there any type of damage or things that have to be reversed now that the next contractor coming is going to spend more time and money doing?
No, they poured. They fabricated pieces that were going to be installed. So there was no installation. There was the manufacturing of these components.
Okay. All right. Well. Anything else?
I believe Commissioner Thomas.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see. My head's turned.
That's
tables,
okay.
The way they are,
I know.
It's hard.
That's okay. So my question would be, how do we avoid this type of issue in the future? What safeguards are we going to put into effect?
I think the number one is to have a very thorough. We typically do a pre-bid meeting for all of our. In fact, we require a pre-bid meeting for all the projects we put out to bid. During that point in time, we ask for questions. make sure that we have an understanding. I think that we could do a better job, both the city staff as well as our consultants, to ensure that there is an understanding of what is to be constructed, what is, if there is something that is out of the ordinary, what that is to be done. If there is a question from a bidder, to make sure that that we don't just answer good enough. We need to do a job to make sure that it is a foolproof answer. And I think that may be the only thing that would have happened here, not to the fullest extent of what we can and should do.
Alex, I asked Alex the question of, how often does this happen? He says not often at all. And Sean, in your opinion, have you seen this at all or often?
I don't think in 15 years, I don't think I've canceled a bid. I think this is the first time I can remember.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. The only thing I would offer is maybe some on-site oversight. If indeed this contractor did things without us knowledgeable, maybe we need to be more present when these type of big projects are going on.
We've had those discussions, and we will continue to have those discussions, and we will continue to make sure that we do the job that we're here to do.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sargent?
Isn't this an opportunity to look into the bid bond that we've required to make the city whole?
This was a conversation that we had with Ann Margaret, and on her recommendation, the effort to do that is for the amount of the damages here, the $30,000. I believe that her recommendation is that there's a lot more that would have that the cost to the city would be greater than what we would potentially be able to recover.
Well, I got to tell you, in my world, if the job's not done, you don't get paid. So, the commission can do what they want on this one, but I'm going to be a no vote.
So how did we decide that we are going to give them the $30,000 to walk away? I mean, was it?
I believe I think that we paid them for. I think that we had already paid them that was a pay request that had already been that we'd already paid them for, and so we were not seeking a return of that pay request. And it was for work already done specifically for those things that Alex came up here. The bid bond, the mobilization, those types of things that are common to the project.
So then, like the permits and all of that is part of usually the pre-project. Is that $30,000 part of that as well? Some of that paperwork, can that be used for the next bidder? Or does that we have to start all over with the bids and permits?
Those costs are ones that were common that were specific to the contractor. Those aren't ones that they carry over to the next contractor.
Commissioner Deaton?
If we were to not agree to the $30,000 settlement, what's the next step for them? Could we be out more by not doing that?
We certainly could.
So it's a risk.
So my understanding, and of course I wasn't here when this happened, I did talk to Ann Margaret, is that the settlement essentially equates to payment for work that was performed. That there was some kind of an error in the plans that caused some confusion by this bidder, and had the bidder, and so that the bid that was received was based on the bidder's understanding of the plans that it evaluated, and that had it had an awareness of the scope as the staff anticipated it to be, then the bid that they would have submitted would have been for the $800,000 that they were submitting as a change order. And so my understanding is that the payment is for work that the bidder, or the contractor in this case, actually performed based on the bid that it submitted and was accepted by the city. And what the city staff said, properly so, is we're not going to process a change order. We'll go back out to bid, but for the work that you've done, you've been paid for, then we'll agree that that's going to be the terms of the settlement. We're not paying you anymore. You're off the job, and we'll go back out for bid. And so that saves time and expense on both parties. So that's my understanding. Sean or Alex, you feel free to clear that up if I spoke incorrectly.
But it's fair to say that it was not entirely the applicant's fault, or?
I don't know whose fault it was. I can tell you that in my 33 years here, I only can remember one other time when we had to terminate a contract or cancel a contract because of some confusion.
Understood.
By a contractor. So it happens very, very rarely. And what it comes down to is a business decision.
Agreed.
Right? So
This could, though, cause further litigation that would cost, could it? If it does not settle.
One of our biggest considerations here was the potential for delay of the project.
Okay.
And knowing that we have Andy Romano, that we need to, that there is a strong community support for getting that 100%.
Correct.
We've got some potential for some reimbursement from FEMA, from Hurricane Ian and Nicole. We want to make sure that we continue to be in line for any reimbursement that we can get through that, and we want to get the park back up and running for everybody as quickly as possible. There's, the process to do a design, the process to get permitting through the agencies is a long enough one as it is. We don't want to cause any further delay. We want to make sure.
And if we denied this, it would cause more delay and potentially cost us more than the settlement amount.
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Sargent.
I just need clarification. So a yes vote is saying that we want to terminate this contract and go with the second lowest. A no vote would be that we want to not terminate the contract, stay within it, and they're not going to perform.
Does that sound right, Randy?
I think we need to.
I think as a general statement, that's probably correct. What that does to your ability to get the project completed and the delay that it causes, that's, I think, another factor to consider.
So just a question, though. I mean, I understand where we're at now with this. I didn't know that prior to the meeting. But if the winning bidder is not performing on the contract, right, can we just essentially cancel out their contract and then just move over whatever claims they have so we can kind of proceed with the next?
Well, in some instances, what could be considered based on the circumstances is, you try to call in the bond that was provided for the work. The problem, though, is you end up embroiled in a lot of litigation. And I don't know that for this project and for the confusion, because there's probably some error on both sides in terms of the plans that were prepared, and our staff didn't prepare the plans, so I understand it, and confusion on the part of the bidder that submitted the bid. There was probably some mutual mistake in that. And so the question then is what's the path, what's the best solution moving forward to allow the project to get done in a timely manner and to make both sides as whole as they can be? So yeah, the city paid $30,000 for work that had been performed, and from the contractor's perspective, they're not going to be able to complete the work because they didn't bid it from our perspective correctly. From their perspective, they did bid it correctly, and their lawyers seem to think that they did. And so the question is, they expect to be paid for the work that they performed. And if you put yourself in their shoes, you could understand why they would say that, right? So it seems like the best solution for this particular problem. And then the staff will just go back and I guess you'll just go to the second lowest bidder, right? And then just move forward with that, so.
And that's what item C is on the agenda, is accepting the bid from the second lowest responsive bidder here.
Okay. So essentially, I think that from what you're telling me now is that it's just better just to pay the $30,000, move on, because the risk isn't worth the reward, and this is holding up the project, so we can kind of move on with maybe having the parking in place at some point that we want to do, right, the parking program, and people can enjoy the park, because part of the park is not even usable right now. So I could see that as well. Any other questions from the commission?
No questions, but I do think it's really important that we do get Andy Romano up and running. And, I'm very disappointed that this happen like this, certainly I'm not trying to point fingers at anything, but I think as, moving forward, we try to avoid this at all costs, but I think it's really important to get Andy Romano going and just kind of suck that up and let's move forward.
Yep, I got to agree. We got to get the park up and running. It's the busiest park in the city, right, Robert? So, and then, we're essentially going to be generating revenue in that property soon, so we don't want to hold that up either. So I think that's said and done, we're just going to have to move forward. And unfortunately, it kills me to say that I'm going to move ahead with doing that and voting yes on this thing now, even though I don't want to. But I don't want to hold up these projects any further. But I would like to, try to see what we can try to do to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again, whatever. And I trust the staff here that you guys will, learn from this and hopefully we'll have a better, avenue moving forward so that this doesn't happen again. Because $30,000 of other people's money is a lot of money, and we don't want to take that lightly. Any other questions for staff? Any other deliberation? Seeing none. Okay, City Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley is absent. Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Mayor Leslie?
Yes. Any of the commissioners wish to comment on any of the consent agenda items at this time? No? Okay, we're going to move on. I will now open the public hearings. City Clerk, please read the legal title 8A, ordinance number 2025-39.
Ordinance number 2025-39, an ordinance amending paragraph C, official zoning map of section 2-01, established of Article 1, establishment of zoning districts and official zoning map of Chapter 2, district and general regulations of the City of Ormond Beach Land Development Code by amending the official zoning map to rezone one parcel of real property totaling 2.47 plus or minus acres located at 1561 North US Highway 1, Volusia County parcel number 3136-01-17-0010 from B-7 Highway Tourist Commercial to PBD Planned Business Development, authorizing a revision of the official zoning map, repealing all inconsistent ordinances or parts thereof, and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2025-39, read by title only.
Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval.
Second.
This is a second reading. Do we need anybody from city staff to come up? No, seeing none. Okay, any other comments? No. City Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Deaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley is absent. Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Mayor Leslie?
Yes. City Clerk, please read the legal title 8B, ordinance number 2025-40.
Ordinance number 2025-40, an ordinance authorizing the execution and issuance of a development order for a planned business development to be located at 1561 North US Highway 1 to be known as the Advent Health Off-Site Emergency Department, authorizing the redevelopment of the property for medical use, establishing conditions and expirations of approval, and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2025-40, read by title only.
Move approval.
Second.
This is second reading. Do we need anybody from city staff to speak on the item? No? Any other questions? None? All right, City Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Briley is absent. Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton?
Yes.
Mayor Leslie?
Yes. All right, City Clerk, please read the legal title 8C, ordinance number 2025-41.
Ordinance number 2025-41, an ordinance amending Chapter 1, General Administration, Article 3, Definitions and Acronyms, Section 1-22, Definition of Terms and Words of the City of Ormond Beach Land Development Code, and Chapter 2, District and General Regulations, Article 3, General Regulations, Section 2-50, Accessory Uses. subsection T, home occupations of the City of Ormond Beach Land Development Code to update the regulations for home occupations based upon section 559.955 Florida statutes, repealing all inconsistent ordinances or parts thereof, providing for severability and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2025-41, read by title only.
Move approval.
Second.
This is the second reading. Do we need staff to come up for anything? Oh,
I do have a question that I maybe forgot to ask the first reading.
okay. Come on up, Stephen Spraker.
So, Stephen, I understand it's an administrative request and all of that. So I have had complaints from residents about work vehicles in front of their properties, on their grass, in the streets, things like that. How does that affect having accessory uses? Does that do anything with the vehicles that's allowed on that property? Work vehicles.
Yeah, the portions of the Land Development Code, Stephen Spraker, Plan Director with the City, the portions of the Land Development Code that pertain to the work vehicles and commercial vehicles are still in place. So if there's a violation, it is a code enforcement action that's required.
Right. Thank you. I just need to confirm that. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Any other questions? No? Okay, we got a motion and a second. City Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Burley is absent. Mayor Leslie?
Yes. City Clerk, please read the legal title, 8D, ordinance number 2026-01.
Ordinance number 2026-01, an ordinance authorizing the execution and issuance of a development order for a planned business development to be located at 890 North US Highway 1, to be known as the Tomoka Commerce Park, authorizing the development of the property for a mixture of commercial, warehouse, and light industrial uses, establishing conditions and expirations of approval and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2026-01, read by title only.
Is there a motion just for discussion?
Motion.
Second.
Approval.
Okay, Stephen Spraker, can you please come up and speak on the item?
Good evening, Stephen Spraker, Plan Director with the City. The Planned Business Development Amendment is located at 890 North US Highway 1. It's bounded by the roadway and then the railroad tracks to the rear of the property. The property has a land use that is general commercial, shown in red there. The zoning is Planned Business Development. There were two previous approvals, one in 1999 and one in 2007. The approval in 2007 did two things. It took the zoning to the Planned Business Development and it issued a development order. So the zoning is still in place, but the development order has expired. This is the 2007 Route Commerce Center approval. Pretty similar site plan to what you will see tonight. So there are two choices that the property owner has. They can either go back to the B8 zoning district with a zoning map amendment that's approved by the City Commission. At that point, they would be allowed any of the uses in the permitted and conditional use categories. That would go through the Site Plan Review Committee only. It wouldn't come back through a public hearing. The second option is to amend the development order that is before you tonight. So those are the two options that the property has. Separate of this application, there is a preliminary plat. Preliminary plats are now, by state law, reviewed by city staff, our Site Plan Review Committee. The preliminary plat has 4 lots ranging in size from 1.16 acres to 3.64 acres. The first 2 lots are meant to be commercial, and lots 3 and 4 are meant to be industrial and warehouse uses. Along US Highway 1, there's a 36-foot greenbelt buffer and a wetland that is to be maintained. There would be common area improvements such as stormwater, utilities, and then drive aisles. The project itself is 12.48 acres. There is a wetland A, preserved along the southeastern portion of the property. Within the packet tonight, there is the St. Johns River Water Management District permit for both the stormwater and the wetland impacts. The Land Development Code requires this site preserve 15% in natural tree preservation. The project before you is at 20%. There are a total of 11 buildings totaling just over 110,000 square feet. Lots 1 and 2 are just over 9,800 square feet, designed for commercial. Lots 3 and 4 have a total of 9 buildings. Lot 3 has about 34,500, and Lot 4 has a total just over 56,000. That is the warehouse and industrial type of uses. The lot is large, does not have a lot of frontage on US 1, so they are using the commercial where you have frontage, and the rear would be warehousing where you don't have visible access to US Highway 1. The traffic has been reviewed through a traffic impact analysis provided in your packet. The applicant has coordinated with the Florida Department of Transportation. There are improvements including a bidirectional median, a deceleration lane. The center aisle will be the entrance into the site, and then the northern would be the exit out of the site. There are 3 wetlands on the property. Wetland A, just over an acre, has no impacts. Wetland B and C are proposed to be impacted. Wetland B is 0.44 acres, and wetland C is 0.27 acres. The property has a flood zone A, which flood zone A is where the wetland is, and then flood zone X, which is not in a special flood hazard area, is the remainder of the site. The uses are included in the development order. So again, lots 1 and 2 would have the uses on the left of my side of the screen, which are the commercial uses. Lots 3 and 4 would have the warehouse, light industrial, RV and boat storage, indoors only. There's no outdoor activity that would be allowed as part of this development. Any other uses would not be allowed other than what's in the development order. The deviations for the project include foundation plantings along the warehouse. So the rear buildings, those plantings are being placed elsewhere on site. And also to delete the interior lot buffers where you have a common drive aisle. That is common, has been used in other projects throughout the city. Within the packet tonight, there's also a historic tree assessment. Tree number 5 has been deemed diseased by the applicant. It is being requested for removal as part of the City Commission action. The project process started with our Site Plan Review Committee. There was 2 reviews. There was a neighborhood meeting in November. Key topics included traffic, endangered species, loss of green space area, flooding, the uses, which have been dialed in since that neighborhood meeting, the zoning, whether or not there was a needs assessment of the use of the property in terms of the uses sought, the abutting property to the south, which you call the Goldie property, and then the transition to the railroad tracks in the rear property. The Site Plan Review Committee held a determination meeting on November 19th, recommended approval, subject to the outstanding comments of the Site Plan Review Committee. The Planning Board recommended approval at their December 11th meeting, and if approved tonight, the second reading for this item would be February the 3rd. The Planning Board did recommend approval of the uses, approval of the deviation, and issuance of the development order subject to the resolution of the comments. The historic tree removal is specifically a commission action, so that is also recommended for the project. The applicant is here. Staff's available if there are any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Stephen at this time? I am going to call up 2 speakers, so we can get back to Stephen if we need to. Okay. All right. Thank you, Stephen. Okay. The first public comment, I'm going to call up Patrick Pulowski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, Patrick Opalewski, 647 North Beach Street. I'm here tonight to speak in support of the project. This is a good project. I think this is the kind of development we'd want in Ormond Beach. That small bay industrial. There's just not enough of it in the city. There's a big need for it. Small business owners could utilize that, grow their businesses in the city instead of going somewhere else. And as mentioned, this was essentially approved in the early 2000s, very similar. Made a lot of sense then, still makes a ton of sense now in that location. So I hope you support this by voting yes, and thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thanks, Patrick, for coming out. Next up is Jim Cameron.
Thank you, Mayor. I am Jim Cameron Consulting, and I'm here in support of this project. I've looked at it, and I think it's a good location, but more so, I want to go back to like the engineering company, Parker Mitchenberg and stuff. I mean, I've seen them design enough projects, though. And if you're talking about stormwater management, I mean, they do excellent work in that regard, though. So I don't think with the elevation levels that I've heard about this, that you're going to have any flooding problems up there for this project. But also, it's going to have some good uses there for some professional type businesses, like I guess hair salon type businesses, other type offices. And if anything, it's commercial development. And what's going on now in Tallahassee, you're talking a lot about elimination of property tax on homesteads. And I know that's going to put a bite in y'all's budget. You're going to have to be looking at alternative means for tax collection. And it's going to be more projects like this that are going to provide that revenue that you're going to need. So that's why I'm supporting this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Does anyone have any questions for Stephen Spraker to come back up? Or do we want to hear from the applicant? Well, the applicant, okay, is the applicant here? All right. Just please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good evening. Parker Minchenberg, 1729 Ridgewood Avenue. Been at this a long time. You guys have a really good one, and Stephen Spraker and the rest of your staff, he did a great presentation, so I won't go over that. Project that we did a number of years ago called Root Commerce Park. I had a lot more hair then, a lot younger. Didn't get built, and if you would, maybe that one's good. Scott Vanacore is the developer, came up with a concept that would provide those two buildings in the front that'll support offices. There is potential for 2 restaurants, 2 grease traps. Not that there'll be any, that'll be market driven. And then the back, we were kind of sensitive to the folks who lived across the railroad tracks. So there's really no, other than emergency access doors in the back, a landscape buffer. It's going to appear to be sort of like a screening wall when you look at the back of this by the railroad tracks. We've received the St. John's stormwater permit, which means they've evaluated the wetland impacts, the stormwater solution. It's dry retention with under drains, nutrient removal. Doesn't get much better than this design. And the DOT just issued us a letter that Stephen's not aware of, but they're ready to issue the driveway permit as soon as we have local government approval. Kind of talking about the uses, we came in originally with the B8 uses and the I1 uses, and with the staff, we kind of whittled those down so you don't see the adult daycare center, the tattoo parlors, and the things that would be permitted in the straight zoning. I think it's a good project, and try to answer any questions you guys might have.
Any questions for the applicant? Oh, Commissioner Sargent.
Thank you. Thank you, Parker. The buffer close to the railroad, is that about 35 feet? Is that what I read?
It's, I believe, 25-foot treed, but 35 feet. There's a sidewalk in the back and a landscape hedge with landscaping, so the setback's 35.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? No? Okay, thank you. We might call you back, though, so just be ready.
Okay, no worries. Right here.
Any questions for Stephen Spraker?
I don't have questions, I just have comments at the right time.
Okay, I'm just going to call Stephen back up just to clarify a couple of things. The one question, just going back to your slides there, the current, I'm just going to go look at my notes here. The approval in 99, what was that for?
It was for a mixture of commercial up front and then warehousing and industrial in the back.
Okay. And right now, under the current building, permitted use right now, if the applicant wanted to, under B8, they can just submit an application and it would go through the site review committee only.
Correct. Once they got the zoning back to B8, the uses that you see under permitted and conditional uses would be uses that the site plan review committee would review and act upon.
Okay. Appreciate that. Commissioner Deaton.
So technically, if this were not to be approved tonight, Those permitted uses say sexually oriented businesses. He could technically put that there. It would go through the site plan review committee, and it would not come to us.
Correct.
Can I ask the applicant one question?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your intended use if this were to be denied tonight?
I'm sorry?
What is your intended use for this property, or what would you guys do if this were to be denied tonight?
It would go to the B8, and then it would be market-driven, but somebody's going to come forward and look for a use, and potentially could be any of those on that list.
Okay, so we could potentially see an adult superstore in US 1.
That's potentially something that could occur based on the zoning.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question.
I don't personally want to see an adult superstore in US 1. I'm just throwing it out there for the public. I'd really love to not see that driving down to go to the children's sports park. Just my personal opinion.
Thank you. All right, so any more questions for staff or the applicant before the commission deliberates here?
I just have comments about it. And
all right, let's go around and go ahead, Lori.
And just speaking to what Commissioner Deaton just said, we got to remember US 1 is our major corridor coming in from 95, and we have to think about that as we're moving forward with development there. So I read a whole lot. I listened to the planning board comments. I attended the public neighborhood meetings and listened to residents talk to Mr. Vanacore and Mr. Mitchenberg. It was at the hotel, I think, near 95. I do need to say that I have spoken with Mr. Vanacore, and I've actually walked the property to take a look at it. And I've also looked at the US 1 corridor and all its allowable uses and zonings. And you're correct, Commissioner Deaton, if they did not choose to, they could just use a permitted use and avoid all of this. So I'm thankful that they do have to come to us, and we're looking at this project. So some of the public comments that we heard at the neighborhood meeting and in the planning board was this will increase flooding within the city. It was a huge impact on the on-site wetlands. There's too many storage units and warehouses in our community, and this lacks our natural preservation. So I just want those comments to kind of resonate right now in what I want to say. And would you mind putting the site plan back up on the screen? On our packets on page 959, but yes, thank you. So to me, this is a very thought-out project that addresses the needs of the small business owners in the back of the property where the railroad exists, while providing commercial space along US 1. And that's kind of what we want to do. The front of the property along US 1 has a barrier of green and large tree preservation easement and dry retention. And that buffer along US 1 is 35 feet wide. And there's one road going into the property, so it's not going to be a lot of ins and outs, one driveway. To address the public comments, this property is not going to increase flooding within our city. The on-site wetland impact is less than 0.5 acres, and it's an isolated wetland. It's been engineered, and we heard tonight that's been approved by St. John Water Management District. And the warehouses are not warehouses, storage units that I've heard in public comment. They are warehouse business/business structures to promote small business in our town. Our growth is going up US 1. It makes sense that we provide space for our businesses. And, personally, I love the fact that we have that large preservation area. And just to go one step further, this commission approved some a little bit more restrictive landscape codes that included native plants and all. And I'm not going to say it's a burden to a developer, but I'm sure they were not happy that their cost to mitigate trees and all were more significant, but it also protected a lot of our trees and our plants. So my thought process is it's US 1, major corridor. This property is owned by somebody. It's going to be developed. They have the right to develop it. I'm happy that they've done this project the way they did. They could have, like we said, they could have done any of those other uses. And right now, I think we're providing as much green space as we can on US 1, but also supporting small business. So saying all of that, and thank you for letting my whole brain spew on this dais, I am 100% in support of this project.
Thank you. Commissioner Sargent?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I as well have read through the packet, old data. I attended the neighborhood meeting. I also toured the property several months ago when Mr. Vandercoor was driving by the house and said he was headed out there, so I followed him, and I walked it. I have a question for you, Mr. Mayor, and the fellow commissioners. Have y'all received any emails or phone calls that were regarding this project?
In what way?
For or against any?
Just social media comments.
But emails or phone calls?
But no
regarding
emails or comments to me personally.
Emails?
I might have received a couple of emails, I think.
Okay. I received 0 emails. I received 0 phone calls regarding this. We have 44,000 residents in Ormond Beach. I see that 4 or 5 attended the planning board meeting in opposition. Tonight we have none that appeared. I read through one of the notes and it says that the community does not need more storage units or man caves. Now, when you make a statement like that, I'd like to know if you conducted a survey, where's the data that backs up the community? It's real easy for us to sit up here or in the community and say, we don't need this. Well, I don't think people build things so that they sit empty. Could be wrong. I just don't see that. So when you hear statements like that, it kind of clouds up the air a little bit in my eyes. And I like to make my decisions up here based on facts. And when I don't get emails, I don't get text messages, I don't get phone calls in opposition, for or against, by the way, of this project. Planning board approves it. The backside's going to be for small businesses to grow their businesses. To have one truck maybe, like an AC guy, a plumber, electrician, starting out. Now he has an opportunity to grow his business in Ormond Beach. The buffer on the back is going to, there's not going to be much noise for the residents in Tomoka Oaks that it backs up to. So I think that, when we make decisions, I like to make them, like I said, on facts. And I really wish that if people are in opposition of something, please call or text or email. Everyone's opinion matters. But when I don't hear anything, we have 44,000 residents. I don't know how you say no to it. So with that, I think you know how I'll be voting. Thank you.
I think I just have one additional comment to follow up with that. We get a lot of comments, I guess, regarding traffic on Granada, right? I think a project like this could potentially keep some traffic off Granada. We've got 2 potential restaurants going in at the front, potentially, with Plantation Oaks and Ormond Crossings, which are older projects. Those residents could potentially stay off of Granada, keep the traffic off of Granada, and keep it on a U.S. highway. That's a little bit of extra thought that I thought about when I was doing all the research. I as well, for the record, did go tour the property. It's hard to approve something like this, especially when wetlands involved. I understand. I get it. I am also not in favor of seeing a sexually explicit store on US 1. So that is something I will note I don't want my children to see.
Mr. Mitchenberg, Parker, what is it called when you, in development, where you put these types of projects to try to keep traffic off? Isn't there a term for that? I'm not in the
Yeah,
business,
sort of
so
like
please
an
excuse
internal
my ignorance.
capture. It's like a neighborhood commercial where instead of going to Granada or LPGA Boulevard, you don't travel as far. So I think that's an excellent point. Being somebody that's involved in Plantation Oaks, we need a place to go, need a place to shop. And then there's businesses that support, whether it's the beauty parlor or the veterinarian. And so this keeps you from having to get on 95 and go to LPGA or go to Granada. So.
And do you know if there's any plans for a Publix to be in this area?
That'd be wonderful.
Corridor? I mean, I assume that with the,
it's always all about
Ormond
rooftops.
Crossing and other, I would assume that that's something that they're probably looking at.
It's all about rooftops and, with my development, Plantation Oaks, and then Bradford Lakes, Bradford Park, Ridge Haven, Waterstone, Halifax Plantation. There's a certain number of rooftops that a Publix or a Trader Joe's or somebody would want to see.
Sure.
And the rooftops are coming. So my hope is Ormond Crossing is going to have a Publix or something like it soon.
I did see on social media, I'm not sure if you guys did, I'm blocked from a lot of stuff, but I did see on social media somebody heavily requesting a Publix out that way, so that might be beneficial.
You're blocked?
I'm blocked from a lot of things.
The
That's
nearest
correct.
Publix is up at Halifax on Ross Common. So that's where, folks go right now. But it'd be great to have one right on US 1.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? So, I'm going to echo my fellow commissioners here on some of the things that you talked about. I mean, a lot of times what happens is, we go by emotions, right? We're emotional people, right? We see something, we don't like it, and we fight about a lot of different things, and we just agree and disagree on things, right? Everything from our sports team that we like, to the type of food we like, to even seeing things in our communities that are changing. I can tell you, growing up in the Northeast, everyone left New York City, where I was from. We went to communities in Jersey because everyone was fleeing New York, and we saw a lot of changes, over the course of time. A lot of wooded areas I played in now are no longer there. Some were preserved for parks and things like that. But, when people are moving and things are growing and things are changing, we got to change with it. I mean, even my friend's parents worked in factories up there. They worked in GM, they worked in Ford, and they're all gone. They're all in Linden, New Jersey, and Rahway, Edison. And, we have to just change. My late great uncle, he was, an engineer and built a lot of things and designed a lot of things. He actually invented the first credit card. And he said to me when I was at a young age that, we have to change and adapt, because if we don't, we become like dinosaurs. And dinosaurs, what happened to them? They became extinct. And so, and I know there's a lot of motion with this property here. I walked the property too, like some of the commissioners here. The applicant called me, and he was very transparent about everything. Says, hey, just walk the property, just take a look around and see what you think. And so I had a chance to walk the property. I drive up and down US 1 a lot. I tend to drive there when I'm going home, if I'm coming off 95, rather than the Granada exit. And there's some blighted areas there that in US 1 I'd like to see maybe changed and upgraded. But we're not talking about those right now. We're talking about this particular property. And as a city, there was a speaker here today, the gentleman back there in the white shirt, forgot your name, mentioned that we rely on property taxes as a city from commercial businesses. Now, the legislator has, talked about, or the governor has talked about eliminating property taxes, and there's been talk about maybe the homesteaded individuals might benefit from that, but not the commercial property owners. And the commercial property owners, they're the ones that provide services to us, provide things that we want, and they're paying the most tax. The applicant also has said, and the planning director that the applicant went above and beyond to make sure that everything was required and done on this project to be built. And we have a process that we have to follow, right? There's rules, regulations, state law, local laws that we have to go by when these projects come before us. And as a body here, our job is to make sure that everything checks off, right? To make sure that everything is being followed by the law. Can't go by emotions. Can't just say yes and no to things just because we just don't happen to like it. You know, I mean, if the applicant went through the due process and followed everything according to the law, you know, if there's something else that we don't like, then maybe the law has to be changed or amended. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about what's in front of us here, right now. And, you know, I can tell you that just from knowing about the warehouse unit buildings in the back, I actually tried buying one and I got outbidded. Long story, but, you know, I did some research on them because I was looking for one at one time. And a lot of times they get used for, like Commissioner Sargent said, a plumbing business that maybe wants to keep a couple trucks inside, maybe keep some extra supplies, have an office, you know, that people can call. And, you know, I will echo the commission also by saying that sometimes will help start a business up from a little location to that. Maybe they'll grow to a bigger location as well. I mean, you look at some restaurants in the area, they started in a food truck. There's one restaurant in town that started in his little Honda Civic. So we're actually, you know, providing people opportunities. And all the uses out there that I heard about, you know, auto body repair and mechanic repair and stuff like that, those are not allowed uses. And I believe that there'll be an HOA formed in that part of the property that will also police that to make sure that those things don't happen. And if they do happen, there'll be an ordinance, you know, violation, and code enforcement will come out and take care of it from there. As far as the front goes, we're going to have a lot more activity in that side of town, and there will be opportunities for business owners to provide services to the people in the community. Now, I remember when Wawa was going to be built on Granada, there was all kinds of outcry about that, you know, and you go by Wawa every day, there's a lot of people in there using it and enjoying it. So there's going to be services that are going to be provided to those commercial spaces and opportunities for people. Now, if you came to me with 10,000 homes in that location, I would say forget it. Might be a little more emotion in that one. But we're talking about commercial space here. Commercial space that is going to help this community, and it's going to help us in so many different ways. And as far as the concerns with flooding and things like that, the applicant has assured me that he's, you know, done everything he possibly could to avoid these things. Now, keep this in mind, the applicant is a local person. He's got his name on this thing. So if there's any problems with the property later on, he's got his name on this thing, and that might be a little hard for him to do business later on with something like that coming back to bite him. So his reputation's in the line too. So I'm pretty confident after looking at everything, going through it, spending a lot of time thinking about it, that it's hard for me not to support this thing because I think it's really good for the community. So my vote will be a yes on this one too. With that, does anybody else have anything else to say? Comment? No? Okay. City Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley is absent. Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Mayor Leslie?
Yes. Where are we at here? All right, City Clerk, please read the legal title 8E, ordinance number 2026-02.
Ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, District and General Regulations, Article 2, District Regulations, Section 2-39, Affordable Housing of the Ormond Beach Land Development Code to update the section based on Senate Bill 1730 for expanded applicability to planned developments permitted in areas zoned for commercial, industrial, and mixed use, and parking requirement reductions, repealing all inconsistent ordinances or parts thereof, and providing for severability and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2026-02, read by title only.
Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval.
Second.
Stephen Spraker, can you just speak on this item real quick for us?
Good evening, Stephen Spraker, Planning Director. The Live Local Act was enacted in 2023. It mandates that local governments allow affordable housing under certain conditions in commercial, industrial, and mixed-use areas. These conditions include requiring administrative approval, maximum density allowed in the area, and then a maximum height. In 2025, there were updates with Senate Bill 1730. They require, in addition to the regular zonings, they're now allowed in planned developments that are in commercial, industrial, and mixed-use areas. It also requires a parking reduction within a quarter mile of transit stops. The purpose of the Land Development Code is to make it consistent with the state statutes. Planning Board recommended approval of the Land Development Code amendment. Staff's available for any questions.
Any questions for Stephen? Deputy Mayor?
Is there any way, I mean, at this point with this ordinance, we can't really change, but is there anything we can do proactively to avoid some of these overreach type situations, like from Tallahassee, with our ability to look at our, like I know like the golf course thing was a topic at one point. Is there anything that we can be doing?
So the golf course that has a residential zoning, so it wouldn't be applicable to the Live Local Act. That's a broader question for, lobbying the state legislatures and participating as bills come up, providing input. So that's a much broader question.
Right,
This
I know.
is simply aligning what the state has done and what the city's requirements are.
We're just doing what we have to do.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah, okay, thanks.
Thanks for that clarification. And Deputy Mayor, thanks for bringing that up because it is quite annoying, but thank you. I don't have any audience remark cards here. Any other questions from the commission here at this time? Comments? No? Okay, City Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Deaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Briley is absent. Commissioner Tolland.
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent.
Yes.
Mayor Leslie.
Yes. I'll now close the public hearings. City Clerk, please read the legal title for 9A, Resolution Number 2026-09.
Resolution number 2026-09, a resolution pursuant to Section 8-4, subsection 8, liens of the City of Ormond Beach Code of Ordinances authorizing the imposition of a lien against the real property located at 446 Bryant Street, Ormond Beach, Volusia County, Florida, parcel ID number 4242-11-04-0380 for costs incurred by the city to demolish an unsafe structure and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2026-09, read by title only.
Move approval.
Second.
Do we need the plan director to come up and talk about this? I think we all know what it's about. Okay, I don't have any questions or any cards here. City Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Briley's absent. Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Deaton?
Yes.
Mayor Leslie?
Yes. Move on to the last item on the agenda, staff and commission reports, suggestions, and requests, starting with the city manager, Joyce Shanahan.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. First, I would like to address Mr. Atwell that was here tonight. Staff has reached out to him several times. He came in to speak with our risk manager. The offer was made for $1,200, but he couldn't provide any backup. He has refused this offer and is requesting $5,000, again, without any backup. We have offered him to come back to Claims Committee, and so we'll see what happens there. But we need some backup to make any payment for his trip and fall on the sidewalk. So I just want to make sure you knew that staff has been continuing to reach out to him, but he just isn't able or unwilling to provide any backup for his medical costs.
If he was to reach out to any of us, any direction on that? Should we just forward to?
Just refer him to me.
Okay.
So when you mean backup, you mean
medical bills,
doctor bills, things
right.
like that?
He said he's had physical therapy, so there's some sort of...
And he hasn't provided any of that
No.
free to us?
Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Joyce?
Yeah, I have a couple of...
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you off the hook there. February 3rd, we have a workshop. We're going to talk about our downtown sidewalks. February 17th, we have a regular meeting. Work on the Granada medians has begun. The contractor is striping the medians and repairing the irrigation. Hopefully, the removal of the mulch will happen along with some other plantings. Parks and Recreation Environmental Discovery Center is now offering free staff-guided kayak tours of Central Park, Tuesday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I think we have 6 kayaks, is that right? Is Robert here? I think we have 6 or 7 kayaks at the Environmental Discovery Center. I will let you know that I've had one call from somebody complaining about the rental of kayaks. We don't really rent them, and they're just limited guided tours in the Central Park Lake. So you can't take a kayak there and go into the river, just so you know. The EDC is offering a free bee bash presented on Friday, January 30th from 10:30 a.m. to 11 or 3:30 to 4 to learn about the EDC's display, Beehive, and its resident honeybees. The City of Ormond Beach's Reel in the Fun fishing tournament, a fan favorite of our community, is scheduled for Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, at the Central Park Lake, 601 Fleming. The free catch and release children's fishing tournament is open to city residents 4 to 12. For registration, please contact Parks and Recreation. Movies on the Halifax are returning, featuring Pride and Prejudice on February 6th at 5:30 p.m. I'm not sure how many people will come out for that, but it's a great movie. That is all I have, unless you all have some questions for me.
Any questions for City Manager? Oh, Deputy Mayor?
It might be a Sean thing. It's related to that Bruce Baker with the audio competition. Is he's in the county or is he city? Is there anything?
I believe that travel park is in the county, isn't it, Stephen? Yes. So he's outside city limits.
Okay, so maybe we can just direct him to address the county to help for help?
Destination Daytona is within the city. So that's where the event was at Destination Daytona. And so
It's bleeding over. We can.
I would.
We'll reach out.
If we could try to handle that, that'd be great.
We'll,
I know it would aggravate me as well.
Stephen's nodding his head. We'll
Thanks,
get it
Stephen.
done.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stephen. Any other questions for Joyce? Oh, Commissioner Sargent?
Is there anything we can do to stock the pond for the fishing tournament?
I think
That is one pond that we have, well, not me, my boys have not been able to catch a fish in. I think they do
I think
stock they've
that
placed
pond.
in every other tournament with trophies, but not that one.
Are you trying to set up your children?
I'm trying to encourage more catches for everyone.
I'm pretty sure they do stock
I think
that
he's trying to
pond.
reel something in.
Pun intended. So, heard.
Okay, any other questions for City Manager? No? Thank you. Good night. Assistant City Manager Sean Finley?
Nothing further unless you have any questions. Good night.
Any questions for Sean? Seeing none. Randy?
Thank you. It's good to be back. I'm catching up. It's going to take me a while, so just bear with me, and I'm available if you have any questions for anything. Thank you. Good night.
I do have one question for you, though. One of the speakers tonight asked about HB 718. Have you had a chance to look at that at all, or any comment on that at this time?
I have not done anything in the last 3.5 months.
Yeah, I kind of figured, yeah. If you can just maybe give us an update about that on the February meeting, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, this evening we'll begin with Commissioner Deaton.
Thank you. I had a lot of technical difficulties tonight, so I lost all my notes. I will save those for next time when they are back available on my laptop. We attended a lot of events recently, Historical Luncheon, Arbor Day, Police Department promotions. They've all been phenomenal. I appreciate our PD as usual. Thank you. Fire will have their banquet this Friday. We will be there. With that, I'm going to keep it short because I don't have any of my notes. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you and good night. Commissioner Briley's not here. Deputy Mayor, Commissioner Towland.
Well, I will use your short time because I have a lot to say. It's been a while. What I'd like to do first is just update you. I mean, we have been to a lot of events. I'm not going to talk about the events, except for MLK yesterday was just an amazing event. But I've attended the Opioid Abatement Committee, and I just wanted to just give you a brief update on the things I have done that pertain to us. At a very high level, tons of Narcan has been distributed, tons of fentanyl strips have been distributed. The one box and the vending machines are still very popular, being used. The numbers of overdoses are going down. As predicted, the zip code 32114, Daytona Beach, is still the highest in their uses. And they gave us a a graph of what months are big, and that event, Welcome to Rockville, is the highest event where there's a lot of overdoses. The county is working on some software and creating a dashboard that's going to help any community find out what, the outcomes of all this distribution and the financial impact. So they're making really good progress. There is, the county approved of all the nonprofits, and everybody's doing good work. This morning I went to the stormwater flooding mitigation meeting. It was a great meeting. Again, a very high level, 28 projects and studies are going on right now in Volusia County. Ben Bartlett did a presentation, and he highlighted Tomoka Elementary. And I know we have residents that have been flooded. I think there's 19 homes maybe that have been impacted by flooding at Tomoka. And he talked about this being the perfect study where their models, their fancy engineering models, and the pictures of where our flooding occurred actually complemented each other. It was like right on. So those are the kind of projects that they like, and they like to move forward. Of course, funding will always be to be determined, but there was some discussion about that. Also at that meeting, the county again is creating another dashboard, or actually two dashboards. One where all cities can take a look at all the infrastructure projects that are going on at different cities, and then the maintenance projects that are going on. So anytime we're doing like our lining projects, that would be on this dashboard. And John Penny, the mayor of Holly Hill, his big thing is no harm to your neighbor. I think that's the wording. And so, a lot of times when a project's going on in one city, you're fixing a problem, but you're creating something for your neighbor. So it's really great. And then we had a presentation from the Regional Planning Council, and the takeaway from that is they are looking when you're looking for funding, they really want to look at large-scale projects that's favorable to finding funding. And something I thought would be interesting, you guys might want to try at home. There's an app it's called High Tide, and you can type in your address, and then it will show you your potential with flooding with different events. So if it's okay with you, and then there's Transform 386. I was wondering if you guys are okay with it, if we ask Sean in an upcoming meeting, if he would just kind of update all of us on all the Transform 386 projects that are happening, things that are pertinent to us in Ormond Beach. I would love for the residents to hear and for you all to hear all the good stuff. Is that something you guys are okay with?
Yeah, as long as Sean's good with that, I'm good with that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sean, you're good? All right. Wonderful. All right. One thing I did learn this morning also on a webinar, one of the many bills that are changing and scary is, and I don't remember the number, but there were a couple firefighter bills. And of course, as soon as I'm reading and I'm hearing about the firefighter foam with the PFAS, I had to text Chief Bailey, and I said, do we have PFAS in our foam? And of course, his response was, we're Ormond Beach. Of course we don't. We've already taken care of that. So kudos to Chief Bailey and the city of Ormond Beach for being proactive on that. All right, so those are my updates. I have some questions. And question number one, I want to address what Amber Bobak brought up, and thank you for still being here, behind the Circle K.
Can't go there.
Can't go there.
No, that's going to come here for public hearing, so you can't talk about that this evening.
Okay, I'll wait till that. Thank you, Randy. Suzanne Schreiber brought up a lot of bills with water quality and water management. It's, like I said, these bills are changing all the time. I'm wondering also if staff would be able to update us with our consumptive uses, what our water quality looks like, and quantities. It doesn't have to be real in depth, but just maybe a brief. And then if the commission feels like it needs more information, we'll go from there. Is that all right? Are you all interested in that?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, we've been off for a while, so all these things are on my head. The other.
Okay, you got 3 minutes left. No, just kidding.
All right, the other three more things. Brazilian pepper. Brazilian pepper is an invasive plant that's taken over everywhere. It's blooming right now. It is what it is. It is a very difficult plant to eradicate. It takes a special process, special chemicals. I know Yellowstone does not take care of it. So my question is, they do on specific cases. But my question to you is, can we ask staff, are you all interested at all in asking staff to look at any other way we can fund some of the eradication of the Brazilian pepper in our town?
For that.
We do?
How much?
We can find the amount that we budget every year for Brazilian pepper eradication. Typically, what we do is we identify some areas where we focus our efforts. Our friends from Zevco were here earlier, but we bring in the environmentalists from Zevco, and they're out there to make sure. I think you and I discussed this a little bit that it's not like regular weed where you just go in there and you rip it out. There's a number of steps that you have to do to make sure that, most notably, you don't allow it to continue to spread. And, because it's an invasive, it's very easy to spread. So, but I can find for the commission the amount that we spread that we budget each year for Brazilian pepper removal, and give you an idea of where we've identified as those areas. And if we need to take a look at some other areas, we're happy to do that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Any of you guys have any questions with that?
Question for you. Do you have any areas that you noticed where you saw a lot of the
Well,
Brazilian pepper?
it truly is pretty much everywhere. If you look on the side of the road and you see these red berry things, that's Brazilian pepper. It's a lot.
Very invasive.
It's extremely invasive, and the problem with it is it weeds out, or it strangles out all your native plants in your town.
I don't like peppers anyhow. I don't like peppers anyhow.
All right. One more environmental thing. Casson Park. My question would be, and I know Robert's not here or Mike Demchek, so I'm wondering, staff, if you would look at one more thing. Using pesticides in that park. We built a native park. We should not be using pesticides to kill off all the host bugs and critters. I have noticed that there is some tree damage. There is a line of, it looks like Roundup that went on the edge of the grass to the mulch area, rather than just edging it using chemicals. So that really kind of defeats the whole purpose of why you create a native park. So if you would take a look at that, I would really appreciate it. And it would save us money. You wouldn't have to put chemicals down. And then the last one is the planning board member, Mike Scudero, has stepped away from the planning board and from the fire pension board. Usually when a member leaves, they are recognized somehow. I don't know if staff has got a plan, if you guys have any suggestions. I know when I left the planning board, I got a little solar clock or a solar world that turns. I'm not saying that's what we need to do, but do you all want to recognize his service to the city? And if you do you have any ideas, or do you want to let staff? And that's the last thing I want to.
I'll just have staff come back and look at it, because there's some other things that are going on behind the scenes, and I'd like to get some reports back on that. I said we'll have staff get back to us about it? Okay.
We'll give you a list of things you can look at.
Can I ask a question regarding that? When somebody resigns, are they required to give a reason? No? I didn't think so.
I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that's it. Thank you for listening to me, guys. Really appreciate it. And thank you, people that are out in the audience. And good night.
Good night. And Commissioner Sargent.
Thank you. Do we have an update on Fortunato Park?
We have awarded that contract for design. It's currently underway for design, and we're anticipating being able to this spring, apply for the required permits through DEP. We asked for an update for when we can anticipate getting those permits, and it sounds like permits are anticipated to be received sometime later this summer, is the timeframe that we've been given to the best of the consultant's ability.
That's another one similar to Andy Romano Park that I think is very important to get back up and running. I'm down there every weekend, and the amount of people we see, and that pier's been closed way too long. So thank you for that. I've gotten a lot of calls about our new website and how great it looks. One thing I would like to see if we could add is maybe like an interactive street map where our residents could maybe click on a street and see who's responsible for maybe a pothole and be able to report it a little bit. It's very complicated to know who's, Beach Street is a county road, this is a state road. You just don't know, and we get these calls, hey, I need this pothole fixed. Well, that's FDOT, and I hate the finger pointing. It would just be nice if you could click on a street. We have the technology available, and it could link you to maybe report a concern. I don't know how other municipalities are doing that, but just something to maybe add to the list. I've also had several, residents that really want us to live stream our meetings. And I know that we did not include that in this year's budget because it was estimated at $200,000, I believe, a year to stream. I'm just wondering, what are our other neighboring municipalities doing? Can we check with them to see if maybe there's a more cost-effective approach to this? Everyone else has the capabilities of doing it. I just think it's something that maybe it's time. So the MLK celebration was great yesterday. Aiden, that little boy he's not little anymore, he's 9th grade now, but wow, he's got a lot of energy, his performance, and he wants his career goal is to go to Embry-Riddle, do something in engineering, and that kid is going somewhere. And wow, that event yesterday was a packed house in South Ormond neighborhood at the Joe Daniels Center, and which happens to be in Zone 2. Just saying, another great event. We talk about the House bills, Senate bills, and everything, and I would encourage residents, if you're bored and you have nothing else to do, you can go to the Florida Channel, and under the library is all the meetings from the House bills, Senate bills, and then each day you can watch it live if you want to see where the bills are, who's sponsoring them, who's doing different things. It's pretty boring, but it is kind of interesting to see how Tallahassee works. It's a little bit different. And I will tell you that as I've been watching these lately, our lobbyist, Doug Bell, I don't know how he does it, but he's at almost all of them. You always see him like popping in or popping out, and he's very well, I think, connected up there. I mean, he's everywhere, so that's interesting. Today, I attended the retirement of one of our law enforcement officers, Corporal Chart Palalapul. I can't even say it. Thank you. Chart was with us for 26 years, and he just celebrated, or is about to celebrate, his 30th wedding anniversary. And you don't hear that a lot with law enforcement or firefighters. It's a very tough job. Tough on the families and everything, and there was probably 10 people that got up to speak, and some that was repeated over and over is that he is an example of a true family man that puts his family first, his kids. He was known for being able to have the work-life balance, and to see one other officer said, that Chart is the one that would always call him just to check in, and how much it meant to him, and you see this, and And Chart's wife, she works at a local Security First in Ormond Beach. You know, it's a true family that's lives, works, and plays here. Actually, I don't think they live here, but they work and play here. And 26 years to give to our community is just amazing. I've known Chart since I think he started. I think it's a small community. When you hear Chart rode along with Captain Roos when he first got out of the academy when you were in New Smyrna, and Captain Roos made a statement that Chart was the one, correct me if I'm wrong, but Chart was the one, the first one to welcome Captain Roos to Ormond Beach, and how much it meant to you. And I just think Chart touched a lot of lives, and it was very good to be able to participate in that today. And as I always say, call a friend or family, check in. Your call could save their life, or text. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sargent. A lot of great things said tonight. I can't believe it, 2026 is here. 2025 flew by, and our state legislator is up to a fast start. It should be an interesting legislative session. We have, this will be his last session for the governor, so there'll be a lot of things moved around the next session around. I'd like to, I did attend the promotion for the police officers. It was nice to see, we had 3 of them that moved up, and we lost some motor guys. They did a great job, but it's really nice to see that they took on the leadership position now of being supervisors. It's a big responsibility being a police officer, so it's good to see that we promoted within. Historic Society had their luncheon. That was a really nice event. Sally had their golf tournament, celebrate 100 years, which was really nice. I had a chance to check out the tournament for a little while and see all the players out there that play golf a lot better than I do. Arbor Day was a great event. We all enjoyed that. And then staff did a great job putting that together. And Robert already left, but thank you to him and his staff for everything, for putting it all together. I want to thank staff for helping out with everything that they do with the phone calls and the emails and all those things that come through. I know Joyce does a good job with, following up with the emails, and Sean and Claire. Steven Spraker, thank you for taking the phone calls. We had a big item on the agenda tonight. I think I probably called you several times on that, but you're always helpful on the phone. Definitely answer a lot of questions because it makes the process easier for some of us here that don't do that kind of work every day. One of the other things I wanted to bring up is that we talked about the boards, and we had a member that stepped down. We've had people come out from the community that even serve on the boards about just everyone being nicer to each other. Just being nice and being cordial. We don't have to always agree with each other. Like I said earlier, we're not going to like the same sports team. We're not going to like the same food. But we just have to find a way to agree to disagree. And I just ask that the people that are on the boards, first of all, we appreciate their service. It's volunteer work. None of them are getting paid. But let's just, keep things professional too. No yelling at residents or just being condescending or anything like that. I've heard some things recently, and I don't really try to get in the weeds with that stuff too much. So I'm not going to point any fingers here. But I just ask that we all keep ourselves professional and, certainly, present ourselves at a higher level, even when there's, opposition on things that are being brought to us. So that's the one thing I really do ask for the people on the boards to do. And with that, I'm going to end the night, so meeting adjourned.